I don't know. I generally have no idea. I generally have no idea, chat. What's happening? The computer has gone crazy. Look at this. Look at this. GPU had like, you see GPU keeps having like these spikes. GPU looks fine, and then after a while it just goes spikes up. I am on processes. What the heck? And then it says like, oh, look at that. What? No, we're not on a new PC. Yeah, it is right. It is right. It takes like a lot of shit. Look at that. Look at all of these. Yeah, I think that tonight, then, while we watch the Lord of the Rings tonight, I will be also setting up the new computer. I wanted to take my time to set up the new computer because I wanted to make it like proper, to be clean, to all of that. I guess not, because I want it to be on for tomorrow. Reinstall OBS? I have no idea. I really don't know. I'm gonna start everything tonight. Tonight I'm gonna restart everything all together. Yeah, I think it's fine. Tomorrow we'll be having like a new computer entirely. I'm very scared of like doing that, but you know what we could do tomorrow? Tomorrow morning, very early in the morning, I'm gonna do a test stream. We can have like the breakfast together. Tomorrow morning breakfast together. So I'll try the stream together, alright? We try the stream all together. Who do you kiss on New Year's Eve? You clickbaiterina. I'm gonna kiss my ass. That's who we're gonna kiss. Mati, no one. Fucking no one. Oh, well. Aunt Matilde, yes. You thought pera? Yes, also pera. Also pera. I'm gonna kiss my own ass, yes. A glass of cava will be your New Year's Eve. Like, let's go. Let's go. Nice. These are the real cool things from life. Come to Berlin and for New Year's Eve and kiss me. Ah, oh, that would be so sweet. I don't want to ruin you. I don't want to. Just stay away. Performance info, sure. Have fun with this. I really don't know. Look at this shit. Hosting entire Twitch streams. Wait, what? What? But anyway, I was thanks, done. Okay. Am I showing something weird? No, I'm not. CPU 80%. Yes, I will have. Listen, tomorrow we have a new computer. You're open to be rude. And dog in over. I will kiss my boyfriend and the dog in no particular order. That's so sweet. A party at my home and all my friends have a girlfriend. I'm going to be the only single. Let's go, Bruco. Let's go. That's so fucking cute. None of your friends is bringing like a friend. Like none of your friends' girlfriends is bringing friends over. What are they doing? What are they doing to you? What? There are updates. I will never. You see these updates? I will never do them. Never. They can. Nope. 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 No. 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 Nothing. I'm not. It's fine. I'm gonna fix it. A third chair, literally, it's fine. Funny, but also such. Oh. It will do them, whether you like it or not. No. I'm not. And here's only for singles. Okay, thanks, bye. Oh, we could actually do it. Like, oh, you know what would be so cool to host, Mati? It would be so cool to host like a speed dating online. Yeah, Clary. Yes, it's Notion. That one. We could do like a speed dating for New Year's Eve. Like on the 31st morning, we do a New Year's Eve. I swear, I'm getting so many calls from my mom that I don't even have the time to feel lonely. Dimmi.
Niente, sono ferma qua a Calicozzi, c'è una colonna da via Mameli, penso fino in Valpolicella.
Ok,
Torno indietro,
ok,
cosa devo fare?
va bene.
Cioè, è un delirio, ragazzi. Non
Ok,
si può fare niente questi giorni.
ok.
Senti, domani quando torno a Luna, intanto devo fare la piega,
Mhm,
vado a quell'ora lì
mhm.
e Fofido aspetterà fino alle 4:30.
Ok,
Oh.
va bene.
Ciao.
Va bene, ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. Why did she have to call me to tell me she's stuck in traffic? I'm definitely gonna call my mom. Sophia, shut up! Shut up! Matti, I actually asked you if I could come to Berlin, but I wanted to go around the Epic Games offices, and you said no. Your mom is the same? She's worried for me? Most probably, yes. Yes. She knows my computer froze? I don't think so. It's Notion. Chat, how don't you all know about Notion? You should all know about this. Anyway, so I was thinking like we can. What was I saying? Was I something? I'm joking. I was joking, Mati. I'm literally joking. No worries. I can record your face. Shut up! Oh my god! She's flirting, chat. Let her make her stop. Oh, speed dating format. Do you want to have a speed dating? I think that it's I don't feel like that would be the. We could do a speed dating showing only CV. You know what we could do? Oh my god, I got an idea. I got an idea for a format. Oh my god. Okay, listen. A blind date. Blind date with CV. So like you send me your CV, all right? And I'm gonna take like we're gonna find one like for example, no, Ari is taken. We're gonna find like a contestant or someone, and I'm gonna tell you this person. Send your CV, not the ones that you will recreate for them, but your actual CV. You send them over, and the person has to choose among those 5 people, from their CV only. I'm not sure I'm proud of not being part of the creation of design. It's a cool idea. A CV as in about you personally, or are we finding people's jobs here? No. It's more like from your background, what you did in your life, what are you doing? No pics allowed. What you did in your life. Also, how you planned it out, because from a CV, I would already know if I like a person just for the picture of how it looks like. Dorkia, I get. Oh, okay. This is it's this one. Notion. I would like already know. Would you like it? Do you like it? It would be fun to watch, really? Okay. We could do that. We need to make a personal CV, not a work CV. No, a work CV. A work CV. Or do you want to have it like a personal one? I would, that's the cringiest part. That's okay, because it's blind, you know? So no one like is gonna see. Well, I think that I would ask the contestants to like be in a call, and when like the person that is there like judging says, "Oh, I don't like this one," the person that was just eliminated will just have to say, that was me. That's it." That would be so fun. You thought chat was smart? Well, I was wrong. Let me ban someone. Sorry. It's so cool. I think that would be cool. It will be fun. Why is it? Can we say gay in the CV? Sure. I mean, also like it will. Yeah. Oh, true. You don't put gay in a CV. And I feel like in relationship, maybe it's important to know. Right? Maybe it's like a good point to raise right there. Why not making a CV that includes only things person hate and then match people with the same things they hate? Oh my god. Change like why hire me, why date me, and make a lot of statements on yourself. Can I send it now? Really? But not for like we have to find like a person that will be the contestant, like the blind date, the one that will go on a blind date. But I also want to bring back the CV reviews. I want to bring back the CV reviews thing. You know, do you remember? Like I hate OBS. If you don't put that you hate OBS in your CV, you're out. You're out of the competition. Let me see. CV blind date. So like to see like this one, I did like the schedule. Wait. Okay, that's where you find also like this the link to this thing, by the way. So this is it. We just did this. I think this is gonna be on the news here. We're gonna back to have the news on Tuesday. What was that for? Oh, supervisor, I don't know what you said. If you said like a compliment, I think that you got bonked. I'll get my first house out of here. I've done enough damage for the following time. Ciao, Matti. Thank you so much for passing by. No study stream today, Corey. We're chit-chatting today. You need to send it soon for a job. We need to do like CV reviews. I want to do that one too. This is other. This is other. Okay. No, I already wrote it down. Down. Never mind. So we can do that. I think that it will be cool, like a CV speed dating, CV blind date. So this is what we did on December. This is what I was planning for January. I also want to go camping, but it's still too cold. So I think that this one has to go like not in January. It will have to go like to like March or something when it gets to be a little bit warmer. I was thinking about Gardaland, but it's difficult because if I go alone, then it's difficult to like go on the things with that, you know? Gardaland in January, it's fine. It's fine. Just wear a big jacket. Why am I crazy for wanting to go to Gardaland in January? What's wrong with that? Choco chip cookies? Oh, that sounds beautiful, supervisor. Why is it so wrong to wanting to go to Gardaland? I don't understand you. What's wrong with that? Too cold? But it's not too cold. It's not gonna be too cold. It's okay. Plus, you wear a jacket and you're okay. You just don't go to the... Of course you don't do the water ones, right? You don't do the water sports, the water attractions or whatever. Natura Viva? Is it good? Cold? Cold? Did I say cold? I don't know. I didn't. When is good? I don't know yet. I don't like I put it here, but it's not actually planned for a specific day. It's not actually planned here. Actually, let me remove the date because we don't have it. Let me clear. There we go. So for sure in January we have the New Year's resolution. Garland will close from January 8th. Until when? Until when are they closing? I think that we already had this discussion, right? We already had this discussion before. Yeah, I know. April? Alright. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. Can you plan a science talk? We have to find a topic. It's not just science talk. We need to find a topic. But yeah, this is like the plan for the rest of the year, I think. It's like I'm still like unsure with some of these things. And like I would like to do maybe some of these before. I don't know. I'm still unsure about many things here. If you have any ideas, suggestions, just let me know. All right. If the computer doesn't go shit, which most probably will, considering this. Why are you getting so hurt? What's your issue right here? You see, you're dumping all the streamers' idea. Yes, I know, but I have many ideas. I also like want to get to know more, like something that I want for the future, and I will show you in the New Year's resolution I created. Like, where is it? Annual review here. Oh, you haven't seen anything. Okay, thank you. Wait, let me, for the happiness of many. So what I was thinking. See, yeah, it is OBS, mostly OBS. What I was thinking is, what was I thinking? Shit, I forgot. Oh yeah, on the 31st, I don't know if we can do morning pancakes because I might be on the way to Rome if I don't go already on the 30th. And then maybe on the 31st we can go like a Irla around Rome. I don't know. These are still like days that I don't know what to do. All right. Good job, Brian. Good job. Proud of you. Good job. Yes, I'm gonna be in Rome in these days. It's fine, Jake. It's fine. I'm gonna check it later. Like later, I'm just changing the computer, so it's completely fine. This one worries you? Why is this one worrying you? Rome, yes. I'll be in Rome here. So I might be, I think I'm gonna be in Rome at this point. I don't know. But maybe I might be in Rome. Puzzle competition. I was not thinking about like, oh yes, I wrote competition. Oh yeah, I was thinking about having like multiple teams. Like everyone just joins and they people get divided in 4 groups and everyone has like a different image and the first one's win. Yeah, no, I'm going with friends, Guaro. On the 26th. You have ideas for me? Send them, Rua. Send them. You know that I always appreciate them. The first one winning, win. Yeah, exactly like that. Actually, for today, what I was planning to do, and you tell me what you think about it. I was thinking about like watching a new video by Ali Abdaal that just came out. This one. I was thinking about watching this one for today. I wanna be able to like, since you know that I'm like one of my new resolutions.
Is it possible to do things to activate?
One of my New Year's resolution is to YouTube main page and video. Yeah, one of my New Year's resolution will be to also watch more like consume more slow content. And YouTube might not be like a slow content for you, but if you're used to TikTok, which is like 60 seconds, it's long, 12 minutes, it's long. So I want to be using more of these. Now it's more like a reaction time right now. Yes, we're going to be going through that one, if that's okay for you all. Let me put myself right here. This doesn't make any sense. More movies? Yes, that's actually what I want to do. Also more movies. Alright. Do I think that 2023 will be better than 2022? I hope so. I actually try to go always for better, right? No, that's not true, Ashkelon. That is not true. Let me put you over here so I can see you better. Do I see you better? I don't see you better. Like here, I see you better. See you later, Pumpkin. So this is a video that is how to become luckier, an evidence-based guide.
Actively become luckier in. Is it possible to do things to
Yes,
actively
super
become luckier in life? Well, the answer is apparently yes. That is what this book talks about, the luck factor, which is what we're talking about in this episode of Book Club, the ongoing series where we distill and discuss highlights and summaries from some of my favorite books. Now, The Luck Factor is a book that was published in 2002 by psychology professor Richard Wiseman, who I actually had on my Deep Dive podcast recently, and he's done a bunch of studies on over 1,000 people that look at the differences between people that rate themselves as lucky versus unlucky versus neutral.
I don't know. Most probably he's gonna talk about Turmalina. Most probably. Fuck, let me get some of that Turmalina shit. I've been too far away from it for so long.
And through those experiments, him and his research team have come up with a few foundational principles and a few strategies that all of us can apply to our lives from today to substantially increase the amount of luck that we have in our lives. Anyway, in this video, we're gonna first talk about the 4 principles for creating luck. And then we're gonna go through 5 evidence-based tips for actually implementing these in practice. And he's got 12 of these tips in the book, but these are 5 of my favorite ones. Part 1, the 4 luck principles. The first luck principle is that lucky people create, notice, and act upon the chance opportunities in their life.
So these are the principles, the different ways in which lucky people think and behave. So we have they're open to opportunities, and when those opportunities come along, they make the most of them. And you saw that all
like
the time.
something like, I don't remember who I was talking to be honest. I don't remember. Most of the times I get like the weirdest tips from like, and the most like useful tips from like random people. And I remember that I got a very cool, like someone told me once that I kept saying like about Twitch, I kept saying, oh, I've been so lucky. I was super lucky. I was super, super lucky. Because like I got to the right spot at the right moment with the right niche and all of those shit. Attention span equals 60 seconds. No, I just wanted to tell you this story. Just make me think about this story. So like and the person told me like it doesn't matter like if you got lucky. The important part is like you got the chance, right? Jaffar's cursed t-shirt. Jeff, do you have a cursed t-shirt? The way this guy's looking at you, shut up!
Very flexible. So they got an end point. They knew they wanted to, I don't know, be successful or, you know, financially well off or whatever it was. But the way they were going to get
Can
there...
we have a better quality? Is this the quality? Ali, is this the quality that you're putting out of the video?
Know. They were looking at the way the wind was blowing and then setting sail to make
Bro,
the most
the
of
point
that.
is
Very
shit.
flexible.
So lucky people tend to be happier to try out stuff and then figure out what works. Whereas unlucky people, on the other hand, i.e. the people in Richard's studies who have rated themselves as unlucky when he's done all these correlations to figure out what separates lucky people from unlucky people, the people who are unlucky tended to be the ones that focused on planning and trying to get certainty about decisions before actually making the decisions. And so generally in Richard's studies, the sorts of people who had more outgoing personalities, who exposed themselves to opportunities for lucky events to happen to them, and then took advantage of those lucky events, those were the people that kind of rated themselves as luckier and then were also happier in all the kind of life satisfaction surveys that he and his team did. Interestingly, people who were more extroverted tended to be luckier because they just met more people and actively struck up conversations with strangers in coffee shops and that kind of thing. That tends to lead to more lucky breaks in your life. People who are more relaxed also tend to be luckier. So the more stressed and anxious you are, the more like defensive you are in the way that you approach life. Whereas if you can take a deep breath and generally approach life in a more relaxed fashion,
Poppe! Poppe, thank you so much for the 11 months. Do you hear them? Poppe, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you for the 11 months. One more and it's gonna be a year. You know, you cannot hear them. Did I lower that much the volumes? Where are they? Oh, super low. This is gonna destroy your ears then. Be ready.
then you're more likely to be able to see kind of the things in your peripheral vision, as it were, and take advantage of those opportunities. And thirdly, if you're the sort of person who's more open to new experiences, novel experiences and new things also tend to lead to luckier breaks in life. You tend not to get very lucky when you're focused on just doing exactly the same thing you've always done because you like your routine or whatever. You tend to become luckier when you start to become open to new experiences. The second luck principle—
This is true, this is something that I've realized. I don't know if you feel the same, chat, but there has been times where I've been super focused on what I had to do, extremely focused and whatever. Oh, Digre, I see you. Digre, I see you. Thank you for the 4 months. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Our alert's better now? Our alert sounds better now? Hi, Handbeck. Okay. I would say I realized that when I was focused on my own shit, and just doing, that I didn't feel very lucky because things were not happening. But as soon as it's not lucky as you were saying, lucky I receive a call and they say, oh, you just won a car. It's more lucky in a way, like, oh, I talked to this person and they're like interested in having me working for them. Like, ooh, that's so lucky that I talked to this person and it came out like that. And it always happens when you are more open to new things, right? It makes sense, doesn't it? Like, when was the last time that you felt very lucky, chat? And like, I wanted to watch this video because I've been wondering about luck lately in the last weeks, I think. And like, because you remember that with the Turmalina, right? You remember that thing with the Turmalina that I felt like super unlucky for a very long period, so I just got Turmalina, and I saw also a video saying like, oh, you are lucky or unlucky, like from like what do you put in your mind that you are. Right? If you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm so lucky, it's because then you start to be like taking more risks, so you are more open to opportunities, so more things happen to you. So but if instead you still keep thinking, oh, I'm so unlucky, then you see everything as something like a roadblock, and not like a way that it's gonna allow you to open new roads. This is becoming way too philosophical shit. The prophet didn't come? Wait, what? And how did it go, Satwa? How did it go after that?
Is that lucky people make successful decisions by using their intuitions and gut feelings.
Intuition. But I don't... let's see. Okay, wait. Let's see.
Second, they tend to trust their intuition. And when they get that gut feeling, they really do treat it as an alarm bell and take it quite seriously.
Now, when Richard ran these studies comparing lucky and unlucky people, he found that 90% of people who identified as lucky tended to trust their intuition, and 80% of them said that intuition and gut feeling played a really important role in their career. Now, this intuition stuff can sound a bit rogue sometimes, but when they talk about intuition in the field of psychology, they often treat it rather than as some mystical, magical thing. It's more like the subconscious parts of our brain giving us a signal about something that we can't consciously appreciate. And the theory behind this is that our subconscious brains can pick up on patterns and stuff in the outside world and can pick up on data that our conscious brains just don't have the computing power or awareness to be able to process. And so when you get like a bad feeling or a bad vibe about something, that's like your subconscious integrating tons and tons of signals into that particular vibe check. And so you can use that seriously as an alarm bell to not do something, or if you get a really good feeling about something, you can tend to use that as a good feeling for doing something. The third luck principle is that lucky people's expectations about the future help them fulfill their dreams and ambitions.
Third, they're optimists. And so that becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. They kind of continue in the face of failure and so on.
And the reason why optimism and high expectations tend to lead to you being luckier and more successful in life is because of something called the Pygmalion effect. And this came from an absolutely classic study that was done in 1968 by Harvard psychologists. And they looked at the roles of how teachers' expectations affected the performance of their students. So these psychologists got a bunch of school kids to do a test, and then they told them that the test would identify who the late bloomers were, and they told their teachers who the late bloomers were based on these test results. In reality, the test was actually fake, and the researchers just randomly chose some students as being the late bloomers, or the students that were going to struggle.
What does late bloomer means? What does late bloomers mean? Does anyone know? Let's just search for it. What? Fulfills their potential later than expected. People, okay. Okay, I'm both. I'm getting both. Person fulfills their potential later than expected. They often have talents that are invisible to others initially. All right.
Even though the test was fake, it had a huge effect on what the teachers expected from the students and how the students went on to perform. The teachers treated those fake late bloomers differently, and they also ended up doing worse than the non-late bloomers. And so the idea here is that if you have an external or an internal label that you are bad at something or you have low expectations, that's actually going to contribute to your performance. And this has been repeated in a bunch of different ways. And so generally being a little bit more optimistic in our thinking can help us become luckier. And
I didn't understand if the late bloomers are to be more like, to be treated better and work more, or if not.
More successful. And the fourth luck principle is that lucky people are resilient and able to transform their bad luck into good fortune.
I think it's probably the most important principle. They're extremely resilient. So when bad things happen, they could bounce back.
Now, obviously, no one is lucky all the time, but what it seems that lucky people do is that they tend to bounce back from failure. When we chatted in the podcast, Richard shared a story about a guy who fell down the stairs and broke his leg.
I do
Let's call
trust
this guy
you.
Mr. Lucky. And so Richard said to Mr. Lucky, I bet you don't consider yourself quite so lucky now. But to Richard's surprise, Mr. Lucky told him that the last time he went into hospital, he fell in love with a nurse, and now the two of them are happily married 25 years later.
Oh.
He said that breaking his leg was the single best thing that had ever happened to him. And so really it's this idea that people who consider themselves lucky tend to bounce back and be more resilient when bad things happen in life. And there's a nice quote from Martin Seligman, who's the founder of the positive psychology movement, where he wrote, optimists endure the same storms in life as pessimists, but they weather them better and emerge from them better off. Okay, so those were the 4 principles that separate lucky people from unlucky people. Let's now talk about 5 evidence-based tips that Richard shares in the book for how to incorporate more luck into your own life. Technique number 1, create a luck diary. So we saw that the first luck principle is to create lucky opportunities for yourself. But to do this, we need to get better at noticing opportunities that could generate positive experiences and open doors. And this is what the idea of a luck diary tries to do.
I would also treat it like there is like, I did like usually whenever I find myself in a situation of like very down spiral, I have like a specific journal that I do every day, every morning and every evening. That okay, you say in the morning you say what you're grateful for, and then you say other stuff. But in the evening you say what are 3 things that made or like 1 thing that made today great. And I think that it works the same, right? Luck diary 1 year later, still empty. Shut up!
Do. It's sort of similar to a gratitude journal and how a gratitude journal focuses your mind on the things that are good in the world.
Oh my god, Ali! We are connected. Oh my god.
Similarly, a luck diary helps you notice events when luck is on your side. And if you can incorporate that into your journaling habit,
no, I
it
didn't
helps
see
you
the
notice
video.
more lucky opportunities in life.
So the luck diary, the end of each day, you write down a sense of gratitude you have for your friends or health or career or whatever. It's called gratitude intervention. Or the best thing that's happened in the last 24 hours. Or something negative.
I think it is what has happened to me in high school. The teacher used to tell me that I was one of the top. Come on. And I had to do more, causing me to stress by the fear of missing out on their expectations. Shit, so it worked in the wrong way? Shit.
That used to happen that no longer happens.
Okay.
And what that means is you start to build up a written record, and you do have to write it. If you just think it doesn't work. You start to build up a written record of how lucky you are, how fortunate you are, how good your life is. And that starts to then change people's self-perception.
Technique number 2, build a network of luck. Now, you probably heard the saying that to be more successful, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I really vibe with this because it always felt a bit like networking, a bit weird. But when it comes to luck, like there's just so much stuff in the book and so much evidence around how the people that actually maximize their network opportunities in a non-weird way, like those tend to be the luckier people. For example, in my life, so many things have happened through just a random person I met on Twitter or on the street who recognized me or at a conference I went to. All of the good things in my life I can kind of trace back to a completely serendipitous, lucky encounter with a random person by virtue of the fact that I put myself out there and I did a thing and I spoke to someone or replied to someone's Twitter DM or whatever that might be. And as I was rereading the book, this was one of the things that most stuck with me because
Sorry. Pero stop eating shit! Oh! Oh! Ombra Nocturna! Ombra. Thank you so much for the 3 months with the Prime. I appreciate you. Can I interest you with a cat? Can I give you a cat? Ombra, thank you so much for the 3 months. Stupid cat. Stupid cat. Stop. Stop trying to do shit. Come back here. Plus, you tilted the entire camera. Now the camera is tilted. And now it's tilted. Stop! Stop it! She is a demo. Oh. Guaro. Oh. Can't help it, I want you. I wish Peta was one of those cats that you could like play around with, but she doesn't like me that much. Guaro, thank you so much. Guaro, thank you so much for the gifted one. Holy shit, Dorky! Peta, you're Dorky! Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Welcome with the Prime. Chad, can I have snips for Dorky? Stop eating. No, 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 no. Pera, no. Stop doing a mess everywhere. Stop it. No. You're not eating this. You're not eating. No. I swear. You cannot be such a pain. No. She's like touching everything. Stop touching everything. You big butt. No. This one. No. Come here. You see, like, look at her teeth. No, don't look at her butt. Look at her teeth. Oh. Do you see that? Those are her teeth. Look at that. Pera. Stop showing your butt like that. She's not okay. She's definitely not okay. Why do you want to eat a pen? Are you good? Pera, what's wrong with you? Stop. Look. She has issues. Why do you like this? Why do you like this? Why do you like a stupid pencil? What's going on? No. And what about this one too? This one too? She has to try them all. Which one do you like the most? Pera, what's going on? You like this one better? If you had to choose, which one would you go for? Or this one? Which one? That's it? None? Okay. She had a bite on those and both, and she's okay. She's good. But now that everything is tilted, shit, let me fix you. Let me fix you, chat. No, don't eat me. Don't stop it. Let me fix it. Let me just. Okay, a bit better. Pera, come back here. Chat wants you. Pera. Look at how many subs we did just because you were here. Come back here. Gain you're paying your rent like this. Come here, Pera. Come here. Janjo, thank you so much for the 2 months with the Prime. I appreciate you. Pera, come pay your rent. You want more pencils? Come here. You want more pencils? Come here. Stupid. Cat's content gets subs, apparently. Oh, you see? Did you hear that? Come here. The sub you did a couple of days ago. Maybe it's because like today is the monthversary, you know, Janju? I see you over there staring at me. Come here. She's like under the camera right now. She's sniffing you. You don't even see her. Pera, don't you dare biting the cable, huh? No. Don't bite. Not the cable of the screen. Pera, not the cable of the screen. Pera, vieni qua. Guarda cosa c'è. Cosa posso darle? Ciao. She's so easy. You know what I could do? Chad, do you want to do gifts to Pera? If you want to do gifts to Pera, you can add them to the wish list, and then I'm gonna just you can suggest them in the wish list, and then I'm gonna add them. You have problems. I feel that she's missing toys. F? Are we having an F? No, right? You can. It's like the job where she likes paper. No F? Okay. Stupid cat. Pera, don't you dare! Don't bite the cables! Don't eat the cables! Like, she's right there. Like, she has... Like, I'll show you. Like, ignore the cables. Listen, the cables are a temporary thing. Ignore them, but... You see her tail wiggling, right? That's how she is right now. She's just having her butt right under you. She just has her butt right under you. Like that. And she's just staying right there. Hi Max, hello. Temporary 0.25, what? That booty, yeah, right? Yeah. Anyway, we were watching before Pera came and we were finishing this video.
A lot of lucky people tend to, for example, strike up conversation with people in coffee shops or in queues or whatever. And I tend not to do that. Like I kind of had a phase where I used to do that back in the day when I was actively trying to work on becoming more confident and like more assured. But then I now kind of stopped and I'm on my phone. I'm always listening to an audiobook. And so as I was reading this book, I was thinking, damn, I've probably let so many interesting opportunities pass by me by virtue of just
Same.
not striking up conversation and not just doing.
How many of you, chat, define themselves as extrovert and how many of you define themselves as introvert? I'm curious about that. Do 1 for extrovert, 0 for introvert. You're not liking this video? I think that it's nice. I think that it's nice. Who said 3? Who's the dumb saying 3? 1 and 0, Dar? Really? You're vert? Oh, then there is the people that says in chat 3, oh, I'm so funny. I wrote 3. She asked 0 or 1 and I wrote 3. I swear, I love you, chat, but you're dumb. But I recorded to the start of word generated successfully. Shut up. I love you, I swear 3. Shut up, more. Shut up.
Doing my best to maintain my network of friends and colleagues and associates.
So, like, would you be able to like show up to someone and just ask them random questions? Like, if you go to a bar and you see someone, you just straight up ask them questions. Sometimes I like go to places and I so want to ask them a question. I'm like, I feel like they get scared of me because I just stare at them. Like, imagine we're at a coffee shop and you're like maybe using like an app that I've never seen. I'm just curious about like something that you're using or like blah. You will have this situation. You're like drinking your coffee and then there will be me in the corner like this. Because I'm like making myself, like giving myself the strength to come to you and just ask you, but I'll never do it. I'll never do it. But it would just be a creepy person in a corner, just be like. And I'm actually just forcing myself to come over there, but I will never do. I'll never. I didn't really like probability. I didn't really like it. Like statistics also. Even if data science, you know, it must be important. After 5th Americano, wait, what? Twitch when you were at the station in Turin? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like people just coming to you, like asking you questions like, what are you doing? Like when I'm streaming around and there's people just coming up to me like, oh, what are you doing? Like, oh, that's so cool that they asked me. I wish I had that confidence, but I could never.
That's like a real practical tip that I'm taking away from the book myself. Anyway, in the book, Richard talks about 2 potential exercises that you can do to help increase your lucky network. The first exercise is something called Connect 4. And basically the idea here is that every week you make it a point that your job is going to be to speak to someone that you don't know. So it could be an interaction in a shop or in a coffee shop or on the road or in a bus or whatever. Your job is every week to make one of these new connections or at least talk to someone. And then the second exercise, which I'm going to try and do myself, is called...
Holy fuck. Talking to 4 people that I don't know every week. Hi, Rico. Hello.
Boxing match. The dad got into the popcorn line and the line for hot dogs. But he wanted to stay out of the punchline.
All right. Would you be able to do that? To like talk to 4 people? That's too much for me. You talk to no, but like real person like in real life that you don't know, that they don't know you, so you don't have anything to talk about. Like you have to think about it, like at a store, like in the office. Would you be able? I leave my house once a week. That's the point. How do you talk to random people? You do, Stepwa? So you're very, very like brave. Right? I noticed that you're very brave. Like every time that I do like lives, you just join in if you want to. And voice calls. That's so difficult.
that can make
And let's
one
see
of
what
these
else
new
is-
connections or at least
let's
talk
see
to
what
someone.
else the
And then
other
the
one.
second exercise, which I'm going to try and do myself, is called
Yeah.
the contact game, where again the
Yeah, fear of rejection is insane.
challenge is that every week your job is to make contact with someone that you haven't been in touch with for a while. So this could be sending them a text or a voice note or just a random phone call. But basically the idea is that by doing
I could never. When you're at uni, it's pretty normal to start a conversation with people you don't know. True, job, but you have something to talk about there. Like after when you get older, you don't know what to say, right? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't. Talking to someone from song. That's how many newbies there are in chat today. Hello. From Song, thank you so much for the prime. I appreciate you. Welcome in. Welcome in. If anyone else just realized that, if you want to support, Prime is the best option because you don't pay a cent and it's very appreciated by me. But I appreciate you so much from. If you want to check right now if you have a free Prime, a beautiful Christmas gift. Anyway, I had a problem with that before. Sometimes it still affects me, but I just go and talk with my mind empty. If the conversation lasts too long, I start having problems, but till that, it works. Oh my god. You're right. Like, some people, nothing else but to keep in contact with other people. That's, oh my god. I have some friends, right, that they keep in contact with so many people. Like, they keep, I go to them and be like, oh, I haven't talked to them for like ages. Like, oh, I heard about that. I texted them yesterday. Like, bro, how do you keep contact with all of those people? I don't know if it's the same for you, but for me, like, I feel like having a relationship with someone, not like, I'm not talking love relationship, I'm talking like a relationship, like being friend with someone. It's like, it requires a lot of my attention. So like, it will be so difficult for me to have multiple of them. Oh, it's fine, Drop. It's fine. It's I don't know. So like, I feel like this challenge will be so freaking hard. This challenge will be so freaking hard.
doing these exercises, you're kind of building and maintaining your network of luck. And then at some point down the line, good serendipitous things, lucky things will start to happen to you. Technique number 3, become more approachable. Now this is again something interesting that he talks about in the book. The idea that when he was doing his studies, he and his research
It's
team,
how to become luckier.
they could kind of tell
Hi, Ali,
at
it's
first
the last
glance
video.
who were the people that would consider themselves lucky and who were the people that would consider themselves unlucky, because the lucky people just tended to be more cheerful and open body language and optimistic and just seemed
Wouldn't it
to
be better if
be
they
happier
just-
broadly, whereas the unlucky people tend to be more closed off and a little bit more stressed and anxious looking. And the theory here is that generally, because lucky events happen, because we bump into serendipitous interactions with different kinds of people, we are far more likely to get lucky events happening to us if we become the sorts of people that are more approachable. So if our body language is friendly and open and we're warm and we smile at people rather than scowl and frown and just sit on our phones whenever we're out in public, if you're the sort of person who has warm and approachable body language, someone might come up and talk to you or be more inclined to talk to you, and that's how lucky events happen to us.
Yeah,
Technique number 4,
okay, but
set
how do
lucky
you- it's not
goals.
that
Now
easy.
basically the idea here is that when setting goals is a good thing. All the evidence shows it, but when setting goals, you want to try and set goals that are optimistic rather than pessimistic. Like goals that are kind of assuming that you're going to be luckier than maybe you feel. Now the idea here is not that you want to set totally unrealistic goals, but
Yeah.
generally, annoyingly, all the evidence kind of shows that when you set an optimistic goal or
Why
when you
don't
set
you
an
like it,
ambitious
JJ?
target, you're A,
listen.
more likely to
I think that there are some good points in this video and some of them that don't make sense, but it's not like, oh shit. I feel like there's some good things here.
work towards hitting that target, and you're more likely to actually achieve that target than if you set a more conservative, pessimistic one. And there is kind of a balance here. Like my issue with goals has always been that like if you set an ambitious goal, it's very easy to tie your own personal self-worth to the accomplishment of that goal. And so if you don't hit the goal, then it starts to feel really bad. And kind of what I've realized over time is when it comes to setting goals, it is absolutely fine to set an ambitious, optimistic goal, but at the same time recognizing that
I think that he's using lucky as a way of like more like as a clickbait, right? It's not be a different person. It's more like don't be so pessimistic about things. I like some of these things. Yeah, they are superficial because I feel like that's what it is. Like, it's not that you can be. It's not about what I think that his point is like. It's not about luck. It's about chances and the fact that you open yourself towards those chances and possibilities. I feel like it's more like that. So if you achieve a goal, you got lucky doing it. That's it. That's exactly not what it's saying. That's exactly what it's not saying. Yeah, I agree with you, Trop. Yeah, but it's not like it's not saying that if you fail, because it's not about that. It's like we're talking about the lack of like, you know, finding out a new person that can find you a job. Like imagine, all right? Imagine like I would consider lucky if a person just told me like, oh, I was at a coffee shop, I talked to this guy, he said that he has a company and they're hiring, so I was super lucky that I was there in the same spot. Yeah, you were lucky that you were in the same spot, but you also put in your efforts to just go there and talk to that person. Is that how I talk? That's how I think about luck? Like, it's lucky that you were there at the same time, but you went there and talked. Exactly, Digra. Exactly. If you expose yourself to things, then you're also more exposed to good things. Also to bad things, because maybe you find out that he's like a scammer. That's true. I had that problem. I overcome it just by counting to 5 and doing it. Once you did it, you can go back, so you need to improvise. Oh, do you like the scam emote, by the way? Oh, it's that one. You have to be apart to get that opportunity. Yeah. There is no luck without effort, so it's wrong. What is wrong? But I agree with you. There's no luck without efforts. I was just thinking, I wish there was a voice chat about this. My thoughts didn't fit in chat. Yeah. Pyramid scheme, shut up. We have 4. What are all of these? Shut up. There is luck without effort. This is not what he's talking about. No, there's no, it's not. We're not talking about like you randomly get like a call for like well, also there, if you get like a call saying like, oh, you got selected to win a new car. How did you get selected? Was it because you went to that event and they said just leave your email and we're gonna contact you with like cool things? Is that how it went? I feel like it's all about like putting yourself out there. I know, Jeff, that there's a lot of luck without effort, but it's not like telling you how to win lottery right now, right? If we're talking about lottery, yeah, that's just people are just lucky. But here we're talking about more like those feelings of like feeling like a little bit lucky. It can be for that reasons or for a million others. Yes. Yeah. About something that is subset of luck. Yes, it's a subset of luck. Still in lottery, in lottery you have to play to win. True. Please don't play the lottery. Please don't. I don't like those things. Sometimes it's also about timing. Sometimes it's also very much about timing. Yeah, of course.
More important than the destination in terms of getting to the goal. B, enjoying the journey is more important than like reaching the destination. And also trying to not like attach or be too attached to the outcome. So it's like having a goal, but being non-attached to the outcome, I think is how we get the best of both worlds here. And technique number 5 is to look on the bright
of both worlds.
Side. So if you ever struggle with things in life,
sorry. I've already been missed by lightning is luck. I don't think there is luck in human interaction. True. Well, there is luck in the fact that you find yourself in the same spot. Play responsibly if you do play, but get help if you need it. Yes, true.
then try and look out for the silver lining. And again, there's so much evidence about this, like gratitude journaling, all this kind of stuff, that when you focus on the good things that are happening, even if something really bad happens, if you focus on the good that came out of it, and like the fact it was a learning opportunity, reframing failure as learning, for example, that then helps you bounce back from negative events and become more resilient, and therefore kind of that's the trait that these lucky people in all these studies seem to have. But if you didn't know, I actually have a series of
interaction. No, never mind. I thought it was a rare interaction between Pera and Floyd. Did not happen. Did not happen. Sorry. Sorry. My bad right there. My bad. It's really nice. Stop so many things. Really? Bob, can you send them to me? You know what I wanted to do, chat? Actually, let me do it already. Can I create a new form? This is the Dumbos Games form. Let me just create a new one. Can I just make a copy? And we're gonna do it like cool stuff to watch. My drive. Okay. I wanna make oh no, Bob, send it to me in DM, not here. Or like actually do it here. Share videos that you think the community should watch. We can put here like a lot of like the videos that you think that everyone should be watching. I will be going through them. Wait, not videos. Videos, podcasts, anything, any content. I think community should watch, listen, etc. All right. I'm gonna put here like the short answer. So here you put just the link. Cool stuff to watch. There we go. Listen. I realized that in Italy we say etc. with double C, and in English it's etc. Yeah, thank you, JJ. Thank you. Share the link. Because something that I want to do, as I told you before, something that I want to do like in the future is to create like a weekly or a daily way to give you content that we can all watch, because we were talking about the fact that we struggle with finding like cool things to watch and we get stuck into the anxiety of choosing. So I was thinking about going through all of these so then we can share something all together. Let me send you the link. This one. There we go. Good. Why are you so interested in Freud today? That's the one. If you want to send anything, you can send it there. Okay, that's it. What was this?
Exclusive interviews that I did with authors, academics,
Okay.
from other creators that you might be familiar with, like
No, it's
high-quality
promoting.
documentaries. But you'll
We don't care. Okay, he was promoting himself. That's the point, Lorenzo. I also don't watch videos or movies. That's why I was thinking about creating that, so we can have like a place where we know there's gonna be cool stuff to watch. There's also a new video that I wanted to watch. I've been waiting for. I want to wait to watch these with you. By the way, oh my God, BoJack Horseman. Who saw this? Who saw BoJack Horseman? I love BoJack Horseman. It's I'm so scared of starting it again. You saw it? Oh my God, it's incredible. It's just incredible. Oh my God. Don't uncover trauma, please. Saw it and processed it. Now I'm good. Right? Isn't it traumatic? Isn't it traumatic, BoJack Horseman? When I was watching it, I think that I was in a very anxious period. I was in a very anxious period. You got bored? Zico, no. Zico, it just gets better. It just gets better. Oh my God, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. By the way, you see these kind of videos? You know these videos like where there's people like studying like this? Look at the cool backgrounds. I want us to go to places like this and do live streams like this. I want to do these. What is BoJack? Oh, you're always asking what is things. You saw this one 10 times. I love these ones so much. I love these ones so much. Oh, okay. That would be so cool. That's the goal. That's the goal, right? Wait, where was the video that I wanted to show? Last week tonight. Are you into to watch something like political? Would it be okay to watch something political? Am I a Zoe or a Zelda? Oh, shut up, James. No? Oh, it's okay. You can say no, but I think that these are cool. Like, this is the one that I was telling you about that I want to watch. It's fun. It's fun. This one is related about, it's talking about trash. So, about my ex.
Hi there, YouTube. It's me, John Oliver. We're still on hiatus right now, but I wanted to come back briefly to talk to you about a couple of things.
Wait, we're still on hiatus? On hiatus?
Hi there, YouTube. It's me, John Oliver. We're still on hiatus right now, but
What does it mean? That's what I'm not, like, they haven't been publishing, like, many videos, and I was wondering what happened. What is hiatus? On a break. Oh, they are on a, oh, I think that they're on a Christmas break. Oh,
and the first is
they were
trash.
banned? They were banned? They were on a break. They're on a break, right? They're on a break. Okay.
In his lifetime, Abraham Lincoln produced more of than he did anything else. And you know
Wait,
what?
I need to put myself somewhere else because bottom left, bottom right. That is so not bottom, G. Okay, this should be okay.
It's
Okay.
not just Lincoln, is it? It's all of us. Cormac McCarthy has produced 12 novels, and that's undeniably a lot, but it's not nearly
Wait,
as
let's
much
start it
as the
again.
trash he's
I
getting.
lost.
It's not first
Yeah,
is-
like, so if you don't know this channel, last week tonight they do like news from around the world, and yeah, the volume is low. The new, like, they do like it's not like fucking shit. Only the cam.
Trash.
Okay. Holy shit. Only the cam. You good, Cam? Are we going for a faceless cam stream? Hello? Hello? Why are we talking about trash and you just deleted my face? I should be on the front page. Are these like the strong powers? These are the Twitch powers not wanting us to share knowledge. Okay. No! Ah! Again! Didn't we used to have this issue before? What? What? What the heck? Alright. Anyway, if you don't know this channel, they're really, really cool. There's 2 cams. This is not the new PC. Thank God it's not the new PC. Anyway, if you don't know this channel, this is last week tonight, and this is John Oliver. Hey, they're really cool. Like, they're doing like these news, and they're, but in a funny way. Like, they make it like light to listen to. They're very hard to listen because they're cool shit, like strong things to listen to. But
I wanted to come back briefly to talk to you about a couple of things. And the first is trash. The thing that in his lifetime, Abraham Lincoln produced more of than he did anything else. And you know what? It's not just Lincoln, is it? It's all of us. Cormac McCarthy has produced 12 novels, and that's undeniably a lot, but it's not nearly as much as the trash he's generated as a human being. Cormac McCarthy has pooped more than he has written. That's just a fact.
what did Cormac McCartney wrote? What did he wrote? Cormac McCartney. Do you know, chat? Cormac McCartney. What did he write? American writer. I've never heard about this. The Road, apparently trash. 12 novels. Poor him. Look at this mustachios. Ah, you don't see them. Look at the mustachios. Geronimo Stilton's books. La Strada. It's a that's where. Okay. Hey. We don't see all his books. Confused. Books here. The Road. Are they good? Are they good? He's extremely good. But he's calling him trash. Let's see.
I don't want to argue about it, that's a fact. And it's not just that, Cormac's also sneezed into tissues, hasn't he? He's wiped his mouth with napkins, he's dumped out lasagna that he couldn't finish but didn't feel like saving, and that's trash. It's all trash. The most productive person on the planet's creative output is dwarfed by the amount of trash that they produce. And I'm including Shakespeare in this too, and Zendaya. Anyway.
What?
Specifically, I wanted to talk about garbage cans
Oh, okay.
in the small Swedish city of Malmo. It's basically the Ohio of Sweden. Is it? It could be. It's a big little city with an IKEA that kind of feels like Ohio, doesn't it? You're not going to check. You're not going to bother to figure out what I meant by that. Honestly, I barely know what I meant by it. Just accept it. Pop-Tarts are the bagels of cake. Hair is the fingers of the head. Malmo is the Ohio of Sweden. Things are whatever we say they are. Now, if you don't know anything about Malmo, don't be discouraged.
No?
Nobody does. Most people are learning about it for the first time with you right now. The most interesting thing about Malmo is that it's home to Nina Persson, the lead...
Does anyone know Malmo? Does anyone know Malmo in chat? Anyone? Any Malmo ears? Rico, you actually do shut up. Shut up! I don't believe any of you! They had Eurovision in Malmo? Shut up! Don't make me sound like stupid. You don't know. You don't know. You've been there? What did you do in Malmo? Rico, what did you do in Malmo? Oh, you were in Malmo? You live in Malmo? So don't tell me. What do you find in Malmo? A football game? Did you actually? Did you actually go there? You're not joking? You're not joking? I found that Malmo. Shut up. Malmo is Ibrahimovic old club? What? Ibrahimovic owns a team in Malmo. Oh my god. It's a big... I have no idea where Malmo... Okay, let's go check Malmo. Sweden. Where the freak is Malmo? Oh, it must be like like it's here, like it's a big connection between other things, so it should be third largest city in Sweden. Then we have Stockholm, and then we have what else? So what is the other another big one? Gothenburg. Is Gothenburg the other one big one? Someone ever watched the bridge? I've never. What is the bridge? Gothenburg. So we have Gothenburg, Stockholm, and Malmo. Did you say Malmo? Did you say Malmö? Like with that weird O at the end. In 1992 and 2013, Malmo was the host of the Eurovision contest. Oh, Malmö. Is it like that? Okay. Malmö. Alright. Let's continue.
Lead singer of the Cardigans, the Swedish
I
band
don't know.
that had an absolutely massive hit in the mid-1990s with Love Fool. You know the song, it goes like this.
Love me, say that you love me.
Okay, that's enough. I don't want that song stuck in your head, and I don't want to pay for the rights to play it in that...
It's already in my brain now. Good luck to whoever is gonna be in the live for the rest of the day. I might gonna be singing this one.
that exact order. Now, the reason I want to talk about...
Wait, doesn't she look like I true. Thank you for the PD. Doesn't she look like... Who is she? Beckham? Is there a Beckham? Beckham, right? Her name is Victoria Adams? Victoria Beckham? Is she the one? Are they divorced now? She does a little bit. How do you write Beckham? Okay, Beckham. Look at her. If she was blonde, it would be the same. Look, here and here. Come on. Look, it could be the same person. And it could be. Twins, yes, I'm right. Yes, I know I'm right. Thank you.
The rights to play it in that exact order. Now, the reason I want to talk about Malmo is that it made the news a few months ago for an unexpected reason.
Whilst Sweden prides itself for being clean and one of the countries with the lowest levels of air pollution, Malmo is a Swedish coastal city trying to encourage people to throw their rubbish away using a dirty talking bin. Here she's thanking someone. And all in a sexy voice.
Yep. Yep.
Holy fucking shit! I must go to Malmo now. I wanna go to Malmo. Now I'm definitely gonna remember Malmo for sure.
That's right. In
Holy
an effort
shit!
to encourage people to throw their trash away, Malmo programmed a few of its garbage cans to moan sexily when utilised. Now, a reasonable...
But I'm gonna wait a second. Let me take the. Wait a second. I need something. I need to become a Karen for a second. Give me this time. Okay. I am now a Karen. Okay, now that I'm a Karen, I can raise a question. What about the kids? Who's gonna think about the kids? What are the kids going to think? What? We cannot show them sex like this. Who is thinking about the kids here? No one. No kids in Malmo? Victoria Beckham and Celine, shut up. Shut up. Oh. But for real, like how do you explain this to your kid? Qualcuno pensi ai bambini. Someone please think about babies. About kids. But for real, what are they gonna do? Like, how do you explain to your kid, hey mama, the trash can just said like a weird thing to me. What did they say? They said, mom, what was that? Why do they do that? Like, bro, how the fuck? How do you explain that to your kids? Sorry, I just realized. I'm sorry. Shit. I thought it was going to go like unnoticed. I hope that was going to go unnoticed. I kept talking, hoping that no one will think. Let's go back to the trash cans.
Sexily when utilised. Now, a reasonable question to this information would be, what happens when a child uses the garbage can?
That's what I said! That's what I said!
The reasonable answer to that is, shut up. Just shut up. Let's just enjoy this. Not everything has to be quietly bad. These garbage cans moan and say thank you after you put trash in them. And if you don't understand garbage can, I'm honestly not interested in knowing you. You can choose to spend your energy, a finite resource, by the way, complaining to me in the comments below this video. But please know, I will not read them and they will not make an impact. Anyway, the trash cans don't just moan, they also have things to say.
The programmed female voice makes suggestive remarks, asking for a little more next time, and come back soon to do that again.
Excellent. No notes from me. Do you know what? Some notes. If the objective is to get people to throw away trash, it is slightly undermined by the fact that you don't actually need to put any trash in them to hear them moan. You can just sort of flick the outside parts. And hey, maybe that's the point. Maybe Malmo wanted to remind people that penetration isn't necessary and digital manipulation is a completely acceptable path to pleasure. I don't know. I'll never know. I don't speak Swedish and I'm simply not willing to learn. What I do know is that Malmo's system is clearly...
Oh my god! John, you're on fucking fire! What the fuck? John, what the fuck?
far better than our approach to trash right here in New York City, which appears to be allow all garbage to marinate in their own juices loose in the sun until the world fucking explodes. But to get back to my original point, sexy talking garbage cans exist in Malmo and they're very, very good. And I know what you're thinking. You're looking at how much of this video is still remaining and you're wondering, is all of this going to be about the sexy talking garbage cans? Well, no. No, it isn't, because I now need to talk to you about a very particular collection of garbage, because you may remember earlier this year we acquired a dozen haunted creepy dolls that were washing up on a beach in Texas. You may not remember why we did that, which is honestly fine. I don't really either. Sometimes we just do things. To dispose of them, we thought we found the dolls a home in Yarra, Australia, a place that we previously harassed for unrelated reasons. You may recall that we offered them our giant alligator giving the finger statue, these frogs, $10,000 to their local food bank, and a $5,000 donation to the John Oliver Koala Chlamydia Award. All in exchange for this stupid banana statue of theirs. Now, they countered our offer, nixing the exchange of statues, but saying that they would name a recycling plant after me for the donation. And guess what? They actually kept their word.
Hi everybody, my name is Sophie Wade. I'm the Mayor of the City of Yarra. We can now declare the John Oliver Recycling Plant open.
Yeah, they did it.
What clip did you do,
and,
Jake? What did you do?
Response there was the exact appropriate level of enthusiasm for that announcement. Now, we asked them to run these demon dolls through their recycling machine. But they pointed out that they weren't the right kind of plastic and might actually damage it. And at that point, we were a little bit stuck. Because these dolls need...
Wait a second, I need to do something before I forget. There's something not quite right. No, it is right. It is right. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. Fixed. Fixed. Okay.
Need to be disposed of. We do not want them haunting our office anymore, whispering the dates of future plane crashes with their eyes. And we thought we might be in big trouble until we remembered those Swedish garbage cans. Because they seemed like the perfect resting place for these monsters. So we started making plans to dispose of the dolls in Malmo until we were informed that the sexy moaning garbage cans no longer moan when you feed them trash, as that was apparently, and this part is true, only a summertime event. Yeah, it really doesn't feel right, does it? I don't want to get into a whole...
I'm sorry, chat. No stream in Malmo. No more IRL in Malmo. No more IRL in Malmo.
About which season is the horniest, but it's obviously not summer, is it? It's fall. It gets darker earlier and beds are more inviting. I shouldn't need to explain it any more than I already have. But importantly, the garbage cans still had the ability to speak if they were simply reprogrammed. And when we asked Malmo if we could reprogram them to say whatever we wanted, they very unwisely said yes. So,
no way.
We sent the dolls to Malmo to be disposed of by literally the only person that we knew lived there. Please enjoy.
Hi, I'm Nina Persson. I'm the lead singer of the Cardigans. And it's my honor to dispose
It's her!
of these demon dolls for you.
What do they say? What does the thread? Okay. Okay, what do you think they say? What do you think they say? Next summer it could be. What do you think it says? Like, what would you reprogram them to do? Would you have any idea on what to say? I feel like knowing him, it could be like something extremely boring, like putting down like information. Oh, mom.
Here come the first one. Oh wow, aren't you disturbing? Okay, bye.
Mums mums. Välkommen till Malmö. Ni misstag från Texas stämmer.
Here, a few more.
They did say nom nom.
Kom till ro nu, avfallsbarn. Era dagar som demoner är över. Mer tack.
Oh, you want more? Okay.
Mer.
Here you go. See you in hell.
Oh my god.
Mer, avfallsbarn.
I'm just disposing of an American's trash. Bye-bye. Off you go.
Mer.
Here comes another one.
Fuck.
Well, here's the last one.
Oh my god.
No, thank you.
Sov så gott. Tiden är kommen för dig att hemsöka Gud. Synden. Snälla dö.
Well, that's it. Please stop sending me your garbage babies.
We did it! Thank you so much, Nina Persson. Rest in peace, Demon Dolls. Thank you so much for watching this. We will be back in February. Goodbye!
In February? In February, bro? You're taking an entire month and a half off? Holy shit. Tennant is better. I really like him. I really like him. But it's winter. That's TV money for you? Yeah. Is there and now I'm gonna show you how my YouTube looks like. Don't give you weird ideas, did she? Yeah, they don't pause during the summer? Alright. Like, look at it, like, the things that I have. I have Ludwig doing weird shit. I have study stuff. Fighting... Oh!
So,
Chat, it's Christmas time. We're gonna watch something on how to find one. Subscribe to Chat Chat. I love Chat Chat. Do you know Chat Chat? Do you know Chat Chat? Let's find that.
Friends who seem to go from relationship to relationship in the span of a few weeks, and others that have been single the entire time I've known them. And it's made me wonder, what are the chances of actually finding the one for you? So
Zero.
after thinking about it for a while, I came up with this formula which can roughly model the probability of meeting the right person after you figure out three things.
What is
how
this?
often you act on opportunities that arise,
Zero
how many
times.
people you're interested in, and how
Zero.
many encounters you have in a given time frame.
Zero.
Once you figure out what these values are, you can then plug them into the formula to get the hope you have left. So let's start with our opportunity value. Some engineering
volume.
friends told me that using an O as a variable is in bad form because it looks like a 0. But when I told them it represents the courage you have to talk to girls, they thought it was fine. It is a pretty substantial multiplier, so really sit down and think, out of all the recent opportunities that you've had to ask someone on a date, how many moments did you let slip away, and how many moments were you at least 7 out of 10 drunk?
Yep.
Now, next we have P, which is the fraction of people that you would be interested in, and figuring this out takes a bit of work. So if you're thinking, I can't be bothered, I'm down with anyone, then the P can be removed from the equation and you can use the new formula. Okay, so assuming that's not you, we have to be able to figure out how many people in the world that you would be interested in. Now, there are 7.4 billion people in the world, so
Nice
if
graph,
you're a
nice
straight
graph.
male, biologically speaking, you have 3.7 billion potential partners, but we'll say 4 billion because it's 2017. Now, obviously, you don't want to date someone underage, so we'll say they're at least 18, and you don't want to date someone too much older because then you're less likely to have much in common. Given my age, I'd say that caps out somewhere around 32 or 35. So, obviously, I prefer if they were single, but wouldn't be the first time I've broken up a marriage. Shout outs mom and dad. So let's focus in on the English-speaking countries, and this is personal preference, but I think a sense of humor is really important for both parties, so I'd really like to date someone who's at least as funny as me. How is that possible? Now, I'm pretty vain, so I want any accidental kids to be as good looking as possible. I'm not going to say I'm only going to date 8s and higher because people tend to end up with other people who they perceive to be in the same.
His drawing, you're gonna see this drawing of
So
Victoria's
we'll
Secret.
say 8s and higher with low self-esteem. Okay, so I'm looking for an English-speaking
Bro!
girl who's good-looking, single, and laughs at my jokes. That sounds pretty accurate. And after eliminating countries that aren't really viable, that ends up at around 10 million or 1 in 100 people, which is our value peak.
Oh, you don't see that. Wait. Okay.
Okay, so moving on to the third and final variable, we need to figure out E, how many encounters you have in a given time frame. Now, the best way to do this is actually recording how many new people you meet in a year, month, or week, and then just extrapolating. But if you're just looking for a ballpark, they say the average person will interact with about 80,000 people in their life, which is about 2.7 people a day. So if you're a math guy, just use Euler's numbers.
2.7 people a day. I don't.
Which is about 2.7 people.
If you count my mom, my dad, then maybe at 0.7. Like, this is not.
So if you're a math guy, just use Euler's number as a default. I decided
This must have been before COVID. No, yes.
to actually count how many new people I've said hello to this last month, and that number ended up being about 2.5 a day.
Well, but not like new people, just
And the
people.
number of people who said hello back was about 1.8.
Oh.
That made me sad.
Oh,
Now, for
cute.
the final step, if we take all the values that we have so far, we can put them into the HOPE formula, do some simplifying, do a little bit of number crunching, and the chance of meeting someone who could be the one for you is 1.35% per day or 99% per year. All in all, that doesn't sound too bad, so with the good news behind us, when the day comes and you do finally meet someone who could be the one for you, all you have to worry about now is finding out if you're the one for them. Conveniently, this formula is exactly the same. All we have to do is take the HOPE formula and then substitute the H for an N before proceeding as normal.
Stupid. I love these videos. It was good. It was math. I gave you math. Oh, you see these? Like, Chinese girl picks a date based on their stir-fried noodles. I want to do the same, but with a CV. I want to bring this with a... I'm back. When I went to buy and saw G with her hair like Portman and the client. Oh my god. Oh, shit! Blink! Good gracious Lord! Hello! Hi! Hi everyone! Hello! Welcome in! Blink, thank you so much for that. Please, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Hi, nice to meet you. I am G. Nice to meet you. I usually do study streams. I'm usually very silent, but today I'm in a cozy mood. Mods, can I please have a beautiful shout out for Elise of Blink? I appreciate you for that. I really do. Holy shit. If you need a lot of love, that's the place where you can go. Blink for sure. Blinky, thank you. Appreciate you. Oh, hi, beautiful lady. Hello. Hello. Chat, I'm not gonna say how much I stressed knowing that Blink is watching me. Hello, hi, how are you doing? Appreciate you, Ace, for the follow. Oh, I usually do study streams, so usually like I'm silent and I'm mostly like doing my own stuff. And if you need to work, if you're working from home remote, or if you're studying remotely, or just at home and you're alone, you just join us. That would be lovely to have you here for some studying. But today we're not really studying. We're like getting some cozy love for preparing for the beautiful holiday seasons that are coming along. How many of you know who are they gonna give the New Year's Eve gifts to? We definitely are not stressing about that. Definitely not. Oh yeah, true. I forgot to say I'm from Italy. Nice to meet you all. Nice to meet you all. Blake, I didn't know you were also Polish. Dzień dobry. Dziękuję bardzo for the raid. Oh shit, I didn't know. Oh wait, are you talking about me or are you talking about confused? very confused. By the way, you're also catching me in oh, Almir, thank you so much for the gift. Oh, me? I'm not Polish. Almir, thank you so much for the gifted one. I appreciate you. Too time to speak. Oh yeah, we also have like, we currently have, where is it? Where? I heard you. Oh, we also have a dog crying in the corner. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, UK. And then we have a small, small is ironic, a big cat over there sleeping. She's chilling over there. Polish G. Because I'm not Polish, I wish. It would be lovely. I would be able to do placki and pierogi, but I don't. We're watching some random videos. Do you have any videos to suggest us, newbies? No makeup stream? No. Can't really tell. Thank you, Tiger. Yeah, today I couldn't be bothered to get some makeup on. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, Jake, thank you for the gifted link. I appreciate you. Oh, Emperor, I don't know why you were banned. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Yeah, you find all the socials there. I don't know why socials is timed out. But like, how are you, by the way? What were you doing today? Were you playing? G stands for Julia. True, I forgot. I'm so bad at doing presentations. You know when you were like in uni or like in school and they were like, you know, asking you, oh, let's all go for a round of presentations. Super anxiety. Super anxiety. Nice to meet you, Gulia. Not Gulia! What is that? Are you making... No, it's not Gulia.
THX Queen Terapete photo. You were very photogenic in your moving chair today.
Don't worry, Chad. He's not talking about me. He's talking about the cat. Actual cat. No, it's not Julia. It's Julia. It's like as you were writing with a J. You know, like J Julia, but you just put G-I-U. Julia. Don't believe, chat. If they tell you that my name is Julia, don't believe that. I'm really sorry. Is this something I should react to? I'm scared of what it is. Please don't be a Rickroll. Oh, Logan Paul.
For the
Nah. We're not talking about Logan Paul here. As James.
Grew to live in fear, but no stuttering or stumbling. I can always hear him sort of muttering and
Really, because you're
associate him with the sound of falling sand.
I appreciate you, James. Thank you so much for the 10 months. Welcome back.
Do you understand?
Wait, it's not Gulia.
No, it is not Julia. We were watching some videos. I'm gonna show what there is on my YouTube page right now. Shut up! It's not Julia. It is not. Hola, feliz Navidad desde México. Hola, gracias, muchas gracias. Vamos a comer tacos. Okay. Julia, no. Chat, stop it. Julia is better. Stop it. It's weird. Julia because G and cool. Yeah. Sure. What were you doing, I think? What were you doing? Were you like... I don't know. The only thing that I know in Arabic, it's Habibi or Habibti or Halas. These are the things that I've learned from my friend in coming from Egypt. These are the only things that I know. You already have that video suggested. Do I? I think so. Like, who is talking about that? Oh, I want to react to these videos, you know? These ones without Ludwig in the back. Is Coolio a friend or of a rapper Coolio? What? Habibti. Yes. I really like the word Abibi and Habibti. I think that they're really cute. What do we want to watch? Like there are a lot of like these videos like habits are not for everyone, calisthenics or it's button time. I'm scared of that. Jubilee are those videos. Jubilee. Search is how to make a brain break. Oh no, I want to go for something chiller now. People said, "Oh, I'm gonna check that in later. I don't want to check the form now. I wanted to go for the. Can someone tell me the name of these ones? Like, what are these? Well, we can check it from his video.
Before we.
No. Oh, you were right. It's Jubilee. You were right. It's Jubilee. Sorry if I don't trust you. I'm sorry. I should trust you more. I should trust you more. I have problem trusting people. Do you
Okay, so if I were a white person.
No, we don't. I want to watch the ones that are like, who is not a virgin? Julia, shut up! It's not Julia. New videos you love, odd one out. Who is not bodybuilder? Who is not rich? Who is the bottom? Who is blind? Who is the secret short guy? I never trust you. You should sort by views. No, I don't want to watch them by views. Couple swipes for a third? There's also like the blind one. There's also the blind dates. Have you seen them with the one with the butter in the middle? Have you seen those? Have you seen it? Who is blind? That swipes 20 guys for his daughter. Yes, we're watching this one. We're watching this one. That swipes 20 daughters. This one. I would love to see what my mom would do for me. I would love to see that. I think that this will be super hilarious.
I'm Sage. I'm a senior at a small university in San Diego studying international relations. And my dad is with me here today.
Clyde Tabor. I lead a
Mama is gonna approve all of them.
nonprofit.
Sage.
Looking for today.
Personality, desires, interests, substance, etc.
Height. Maybe.
My dad would not care at all.
Probably. I am an includer, so the idea of excluding people based on appearance is not natural.
I don't believe that. Oh, she already swiped on them. She already swiped on them. Oh, only that? Wait, what? It didn't ask anything?
Can I give you a hug?
Oh, okay, no.
That's a left. Can I give you a hug?
That's it? Just... Wait, he's not asking any questions?
Can I give you a hug? It's a height thing.
It's a hug! Bro! He just said, I'm an includer. I'm gonna feel bad about... I'm gonna feel bad about rejecting someone just from the appearances, and then he just hugs him and goes, it's a height thing. Bro! How to kill someone? How to actually stop them? To do it like this? Yeah, but you cannot just tell them in the ear. How cruel is it to go in the ear and go like, it's a height thing? God! Respect to the short kings!
Can I give you a hug?
Sure. Absolutely.
That's this one. Can't say anything.
You're in, bro. All right, you're in. You're in.
I'm waiting for when he will ask questions.
Yeah. Yes, you're in.
With the tattoos?
Yep, you're in.
Hot.
All right, you are in, sir. All right, yes. Bring it. Bring it in.
That is liking it so much. That is liking it so much.
You were harder? Awkward. Like everybody needs to be named and known and seen and loved, and is like, gosh, killer.
Dad is going to be judging you based on your handshake.
Oh my god, I was sweaty. Look at that.
Oh.
Wait.
Judging you based on your...
Let me try my hands. Let me just try my hands. All right.
Handshake and introduction.
Oh, yeah, good call. That was brilliant.
Hello, sir. It's very nice to meet you.
What's your name?
My name's Carter. What's your name?
Carter, I'm Clyde.
You look a lot like Steve Martin.
Wow. Okay, dude.
Oh, a little long.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Hello. I'm Justin.
Justin.
Yes.
I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you.
Ryan, come on over.
Oh no. Oh. Okay, if I can give you one tip.
I'm Ryan. Nice to meet you.
One tip.
Ryan?
Right here. Never. I know. Wait. Please don't. Don't put I know that it's for the sweat. I know that it's for not showing stuff. Please never. Or at least don't make it visible. This is this when the one under is showing. How is that called? How is that one called? The one how is that kind of t-shirt called? How is that kind of t-shirt called? Undershirt? This and the skinny jeans, yeah. I judge more than the dad, but just this one. La maglietta della salute. He could just tank top, thank you. Yeah, like the vest, like the tank top under. Don't. The wife beater. What? The wife beater. Wait, wife beater. Oh. This one with a t-shirt on? No. You die if you don't wear it. You can wear it, but then be sure to put something. Oh. Fair enough. But it's in the gym it's fine. Alone it's fine. It's a matter of style. But this one with a white t-shirt on it, oh my god, please no. Please no. Trust me on this one. Trust me on this one. You can wear it. If it needs to strip, then you don't need it. There is Wolverine under there. Okay, Wolverine, it's okay. Okay, but you see that it's only wearing that one. Only that one, it's okay. But if you wear that one under and then a white t-shirt on, be careful. The t-shirt over it has to be very, very covering. Very covering. It's just no. It's just a no. Sorry.
Come on over.
Hi, I'm Al.
Al?
How's it going, sir? My name's Will.
Hey, Will. Clyde.
How's it going, Clyde?
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Cade.
Cade.
Nice to meet you.
I don't like how he walks. Nice to meet you. I'm he went for a very large nice to meet you, bruh. Too much. I don't like that guy. I don't like that guy.
Thailand, like the country.
I love that.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
His name is Thailand?
Rufus.
Rufus.
Yeah.
Go this way.
My name's Zach. It's nice to meet you.
Zach, go this way.
Oh, skinny jeans.
Nico, can I give you a hug?
Please.
No, Nico, because of the tattoos.
You give such nice hugs. My name's Melvin. You have a beautiful smile, sir.
Oh, Melvin! Sucking it up, bro. Yeah, you can come on in.
I'm Arthur.
Arthur.
Nice meeting you.
I would have my choice already.
Arthur. Thank you.
again. Keegan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the 3 months. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Oh, he's going for the house. Keegan, thank you so much for the 3 months. Welcome back for the 3 months. Welcome back.
You can go.
I thought Arthur was really cute.
Wait, let's check back Arthur.
Looking it up, bro. Yeah, you can come on in.
I'm Arthur.
Arthur. Nice meeting you. Can I give you a hug?
Why not? Why not Arthur?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like Judas kiss.
I thought Arthur was really cute. With his purple shoes and his foreign accent. Yeah.
Hi, my name's Jether.
Jether?
She's like,
Yes.
Look at how she looks at him. Look at how she looks at him living. Look at her. She's just looking at him living like.
Yes.
Clyde.
For the right.
My handshake? I don't think that you can see much from the handshake, right? Wait. Can I so sleepy? Wait. What did I bring with me? Oh, I'm sorry, Pedro. Sorry for waking you up. Go back to sleep. I also woke up Floyd. No. What am I doing? No. Here. Okay. Wait. This will be my handshake. Not seated, but I cannot. Okay. Left. What do you mean left, chat? But it's how it feels. I agree with you. It's how it feels. That's what I'm saying.
Hi, my name's Jether.
Jether?
Yes.
Clyde.
Jether?
Hi, my name is Ricky.
Ricky?
Yeah.
Go to the right.
Still a lot.
She gave me some cues like, there's a couple guys in there. And I was trying to think, okay, who are those couple of guys?
My dad knows my type. And I was like, oh, my dad will know. He'll know. And then I was shocked, to say the least.
Oh, no interrogation. Oh,
Your
you
name
see?
again?
You see how he goes? Is it just me that noticed this? Look at how he goes.
Nice to meet you again.
Your name again?
Cade.
I'm Ryan.
Ryan.
Zach.
All right, Zach. Tell me about you.
Chat. I want all the names of the people. I would like to have all the names of the people so we could do like bets. Who do you like the most, chat? Who do you like the most so far?
Live in New York. I'm a music business student at Syracuse.
I'm a musician. I am a videographer into film.
The
and
dad?
I do martial arts.
The dad. Stupid.
So I'm
I like the
going to
daughter.
CSUOB, majoring in chemistry.
I'm working toward becoming an EMT, but the long-term goal would be
Don't go like
firefighter,
this,
so
bro.
that's what I
Don't go
would see
like this.
myself in
Gives
5
like
years.
such gym
I
program.
studied finance and data analytics at University of Maryland. I
Oh,
currently
yes.
work as a public sector
How are you
consultant.
sitting?
Okay, bro, you just said University of Maryland. Just go right.
No, but look at how he was sitting.
Sorry,
You terp? Are you a terp?
I'm a terp, bro.
Oh my God.
No, I don't know why. That was very unplanned. I don't know. That was visceral.
So my name is William. Go to
Oh no, Kanka, you wrote it in the wrong way. Wrote it in the wrong way. Oh, I agree with you, Julia.
Maryland as well.
Ah, nice one.
I do. I'm a
You
current.
do not.
I do. Third.
Which
College Park.
campus?
College Park.
Where do you live?
Dale Hall.
Okay.
Yo, Terp, where'd you live?
Psh, I don't know. That was about me. You kind of called me out, so.
I'd like to say that I'm kind of good at golf, so if you want to play golf sometime, I've been
Right.
looking for a partner, so.
I suck at golf, but
I can teach you.
Oh, I like this style too. I like this style.
tell me about your family.
My mom's from India. We used to go every year. She's amazing, and I look up to her for a lot of
I
inspiration.
kind of like with
And my dad's a doctor. I appreciate my relationship a lot with him now that I'm here.
Tell me something about your past dating life.
I think I've tried not to like throw myself.
Imagine meeting a girl's dad before meeting her and you have to tell him about your dating life. I'm glad my dad is not hip. Wait, what? Melvin is a suck up. Of course, you have to be. It's better like this than actually.
Relationships when like I don't think I've been ready for them, but I think I'm at a point in my life right now where I am ready.
Okay, so why are you on this episode?
I'm on this episode because I'm looking for love, and I'm trying to meet a nice dad. Which I think I did.
I'll be honest, I'm here because
That's a suck up in a bad way.
like I said, I just started my businesses, so I feel like I'm just trying to get my face out there as much as possible.
Fair enough.
And you know, I just love, I can talk, I like talking.
All right, dude, can I give you a hug?
Of course, man.
How tall is he plus?
Can I give you a hug?
Oh.
What?
By the way, it's this very smart way, the fact that the dad is saying, like, can I give you a hug? It's, like, easier than just saying, I don't like you, I'm sorry. It's like, can I give you a hug? And it's out.
Thank you. All right, bro. Go to the right. Bro, I just swiped you right. Swiping you right. Appreciate it.
No.
Go. Thank you. Go.
Oh, I like the whole
All right.
stars, the
Thank you,
Converse.
sir. Yeah.
Thank you so
much. All right.
What? It was also cool, like, giving the handshake.
I believe it, yeah.
Listen, I might not be good at dating, but I think that I will be a very good auntie giving tips for, like, looking at my friends' new crushes and be like, not that one. Or, like, to my nephews and nieces going, like, I don't like this guy. I feel like he's not giving me the good vibes. I don't, you know, I feel I could do that. I could easily be doing that. Easy.
Only eliminate one?
Just a note for Raiders. Still with us. She got banned from Tinder twice. And it's real news. It's not even fake. It's actually for real. But I don't even know why. I don't even know.
Oh, I have an idea. I have 2 questions for each guy, the whole group. Tell me something about your spiritual/faith life, and what's your opinion about the border crisis between Russia and Ukraine?
Holy shit! The dad is going harder with this question. What the fuck? How did I get banned from Tinder? I have no idea. I was just doing Tinder with the chat, but we were not like looking at people. Everything was blurred, so you could not see pictures of the people, just their names and their bio. And I was like describing the pictures, and we were like swiping left to everyone. And I think they thought that I was a bot, so they banned me. After like 1 year, I think, I did another account. We did the same, and we got banned again. I don't know. These are hard questions. Look
2
at them.
questions. Are we ready? Boom.
I go to the gym a lot, and after the gym, I like just meditating, doing yoga.
Spirituality isn't the biggest part of my life. I think it takes a bit more of a broader spiritual.
How can you ask spirituality to people like to Gen Z? How? Shit, what would you
but
answer,
I think Christianity
Chad?
is the lens through which I make sense of who God is.
So I was raised as a Buddhist, but nowadays at school, almost all of my friends are Christian, so I'd say I'm pretty open-minded.
I grew up Hindu, but I also grew up in a Muslim country, so I've learned a lot about Islam. I've learned a lot about different religions. I think it's important to have that perspective.
For me, my whole family's Christian. Everybody's Christian. I'm also a Christian as well. And question 2, I'm not a big fan of Russia's moves in Ukraine.
Bro, look at your posture.
I'm also a Christian as well. And question 2.
What is that shrink position? Like this in front of your you have to pretend. You can also not be confident, but you have to pretend, right? You have to like pretend to be like up straight.
2, I'm not a big fan of.
Looking posture, right? His data scientist so fair. That's true. Why people talk about religion when spirituality was asked? People are so dumb. No, it's like spirituality and beliefs. I think he's asking.
Russia's moves in Ukraine.
Not pretend, but like how you know, how you present yourself to the father.
I think it's mostly about Crimea, right? And
oh wait, this episode was filmed in January 22 before Russian invasions of Ukraine. Wait, I want to listen to these like in another perspective because it's like I feel like in the US it might be like a little bit more difficult to like as like everywhere that is, as it for everyone, right? When something is geographically far away from us, it's more difficult to know about it, right? It was written before, you didn't see it. Yeah, that's a strange question to ask in January. In January, I didn't even know Ukraine existed. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's difficult to know more about things that are far away physically from you, right? As I personally would not know about, like, a war happening in Africa because it's far away from me. Which is not, it doesn't mean that I'm allowing myself to not know about it. But I'm saying, like, it's more, like, understandable in a way. Like, it's more normal, I would say. Does it make sense? But now we have a tenant and we know everything. True.
My whole family's Christian. Everybody's Christian. I'm also a Christian as well. And question 2, I'm not a big fan of Russia's moves in Ukraine. I mean, it's mostly about Crimea, right? And
I think that, maybe they were just invading. No, it's before Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So we're just doing stuff in Ukraine, I think, maybe.
And I just think they should kind of leave them alone. Russia's already big enough.
For Russia, I know they're trying to pull a false flag on Ukraine and try to say, like, people are attacking Russia. So they could, attack, invade, and it's just going to cause, like, a huge, problem in Europe.
As far as I remember, Russia is invading Ukraine.
I'm pretty ignorant on the topic, but I would be happy to have you educate me.
Personally, I don't know that.
Okay, this guy, Zach wants the dad. It's clear. Zach wants the dad. Hi, Davide. We're watching videos. How are you? Zach wants the dad. I don't want the dad. I want Melvin. Zach is aiming. I would like you to
Be ignorant on the topic, but I would be happy to have you educate me.
Personally, I don't know that much about it. I could learn and should learn more.
I don't know much about it. I don't know enough to comment, and so I don't want to.
I do not know much about the conflict to make an informed opinion, so I will not answer that question.
I also.
I like that answer. I like that answer. I like that answer. I'm not informed enough on the topics, so I don't feel comfortable enough in giving my own opinion about it. I like that answer. It's a good answer. I'm simping Melvin.
Knock out of my ass.
Give a better
Sorry.
answer. Oh.
You're to the right. You can go.
No! Well, actually, does that mean that Melvin is still available?
You can go right. To the right. All right, bro, you can go right. All right, you can go right.
Oh, the one that gave you that answer wasn't right. Zach is nastier than Malmo's trash bins?
I do.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
How'd you do?
Oh, did you like...
Who do you think he will choose? Who do you think he will choose among these people? Hello, welcome back. I don't know what is happening. I don't know. I don't know why he keeps doing that. I'm sorry. I cannot wait to use the new computer tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm not muted. Shut up. I'm not muted. No, I'm not. I'm muted.